Hello, you're a supplier who's just emailed an invoice or sent an invoice by mail to one of your clients, and now we're coming back to you with an email asking you to verify what's happened there. So I want to give you a bit of an overview of why we're doing this and what we can do about it in the future. Okay, so we're going to lay out the process for manual invoice processing with your client here. First off, you're doing an email to your client here of your invoice, and basically it looks something like this, perhaps in your Outlook system, or maybe you just hit the email invoice button from your own internal order management system. It's going to your client. Deal by is your client, for example. It's got a subject line and then a PDF invoice on it. Pretty straightforward. You guys have all seen this. That's why you're here. The PDF arrives at our doorstep at Nipendo. We are representing your client here and converting it into some readable format in XML. And then you've seen an email coming to you asking for a verification request. And that email looks a little bit like this, something along the order of your name up here in the to box, something about the subject line there, and then a line there that says that the invoice is not yet received by your client because we've stopped it in the process and we've digitized it. We've put it into a format that can be read by machines. We have a call to action in that we need you to do a verification that our digitization was correct to make sure that your invoice is going to land correctly. And we also may have detected some issues that you need to look at. We have some example issues here around whether tax ID is included, for example, and we may have fixed that for you, and some other ones that you may need to fix yourselves. So take a look at all that, click to log in, and go from there. That process is basically a portal process. So the next step after getting that email, you click on that login and you look in on the process itself. Here we are in the verification request email, clicking on the login, and then reviewing the invoice with the uploaded document on the right as a reference. So this is your document. This is how it looks on our system. Let's make sure that they all look the right way. If they do, click the send button up here and everything's fine. If they don't, you can actually adjust the header information that was done using this edit over on the left side here. And you can look at the lines too. Pro tip, if you look at the goods receipt information, you can actually just add lines that have already been received and make sure those invoices come in nicely. Or you can add lines from the PO if you want to invoice ahead of the actual receipts. Flip through, check the ones you want, and add that to your invoice. So that gives you side-by-side review of the digitization, and it also gives you an ability to correct any errors from the header, from the lines, based on either receipts or the PO. All right, so once you've done that, we're going to give you another email to confirm that everything's fine. Basically, we got the invoice, we passed it on to the client, they've officially received it. Your net payment terms start tracking from this date. All is good. You have a call to action if you want to track the progress, or if you have some other issues or want to retract the invoice, you could always log in to the Nipendo system and submit a request for that. But let's get on to actually tracking progress. So this is up to you, but if you want to, you could log in anytime and you will then be able to see what's going on in the process. It's in the sent invoices area and you could see the processing statuses. You could see a multi-client view of invoices. Each line can be multiple clients. And if there is a possibility or an option there, you can get paid now early and request an early payment, say even when you want it paid as well. So there's lots that you can do on that portal there. And if you notice here, what's going on is we have to digitize your invoice to something we can use. We have to verify that it's matching all the rules that the customer wants you to follow in terms of a verified invoice, and then they go ahead and process it. So this is all what happens in a manual invoice situation. But there are other ways to go about this. If you've got more than a couple invoices going on, you probably don't want to do all that lookup stuff and eyeballing and emailing and so on. And so we've got other options there, and that is basically B2B invoice processing. So you can say goodbye to manual, and you might even be able to do that across multiple clients. So this gives you a big leverage factor. So let's take a look at that. So ERP plugins for all the different kinds of usual suspect systems that are in the back end of your supplier side. What do you use for order management or AR? We can actually create a plugin so that we can send invoices directly from your system into Nipendo. Nipendo will then convert that into a universal standard and then look at all the rules that your clients want to do against those invoices, bring up any problems that there are, but basically do the digitization and the verification automatically for you, and then convert that into what the client needs and feed it into the client's system, either through a portal, a network, or right into the backend system that they use for AP. So that's the idea here, is to be able to get integration end to end, but also do a lot of rules checking in the middle, because every client you have, no matter what system they're using in the back end, probably has different rules. So the big benefits here, number one is you work directly from your home system. You don't step into email, you don't step into our portal, you just do it from their home system. Keep it simple. Second one is we know your client's rules, so you don't have to. And if we find anything that's wrong, we probably fill it in for you if we can, or we'll send it back to you so that you can fix it on your side if we can't do it. And then finally, we ensure that there are valid submissions all the way to the end, so making sure that we close the loop with your customers. And customers actually is plural here, because the really big deal here is that you do this integration for one of your customers with Nipendo, perhaps the one who brought you to this dance. But we can actually work so that we can do this across all of your customer portals, or at least the big ones, the ones with lots of transactions that should be integrated. We can actually do that because we know how different portals and networks out there and different AP systems work, and we can work the gap between you and them if you'd like. But if you don't like that, then you can continue to do with the manual, and that's free of charge. Thank you very much.